Hey, what's up? This is PDX Guitar Freak, and welcome to a quick video where I'm going to take you through how to take patches made on the HD500X and open them on the HD500 and vice versa. Now, one thing I want to point out is I haven't done a video specifically dedicated to the HD500 series in quite a while, and I have some new patches that I've created that I'm going to share with you real soon that I'm really excited about, that I've really been fine-tuning. I think you're going to like them. If you've liked my previous patches, you'll probably like these even more. So that's coming real soon. Now, back to the purpose here. In order to open a 500X patch on the 500 or vice versa, you need to change the file extension type to match the system you're using. And I'm going to go into greater detail on how to do that in a minute. But for those of you that are in a hurry, the HD500X has a file extension type of .5xe, and the HD500 patches have a file extension type of .h5e. So you simply change that to match the system you're using. Now, it's not always going to work. And the reason it doesn't always work is because the primary difference between the HD500X and the 500 is that the 500X handles more DSP, or digital signal processing. You have more processing power, so you can create bigger and more complex patches. Now, opening or converting a file from 500 to 500X, you should have no problem opening those files. It's the other way around where sometimes you'll be challenged, and I'll show you some ways to kind of potentially mitigate that. Alright, so first thing you want to do is make sure that you have the patch that you want to convert downloaded onto your computer already, and you want to make sure that you've got your HD500 editing software open. And typically what I'll do is I will have my HD500 connected to my computer at the same time so I can find out immediately if it's going to work or not. So now I'm going to go into the folder where I placed that particular file, and when you first go in there it looks like there's nothing in there, or you're not going to see that particular patch, but if you go to all files, then it shows up. There it is, Van Halen Brown.5xe. Now again, what I want to do is change the file extension type to .h5e. So simply click on it, rename .h5e. And there it is. Now it's an HD500 patch. However, I've tried this one before, and I know it's going to require too much DSP for my HD500 to handle. So if I open it, there's the error. This patch overloads the DSP on the Pod HD500 and was not sent to the device. So now I know this patch is too big. So again, if you have your HD500 connected while you do this, you're going to find out immediately if the patch requires too much DSP for the HD500. Now, one thing that you can do to try to still use this patch is experiment with it a little bit. Maybe you decide that you don't need the phaser. Remove the phaser, resave it, and then try opening it again. And just experiment with it. Another way you could try to get around it, or try to still utilize the patch if you really want to try it, is take a screenshot of all of the settings and then build it from scratch. Start with the amps and then start adding components, and it'll tell you, if you're plugged into your HD500 at the time, whether or not you've maxed out. Alright, so another question I've been getting from people is, alright man, when are you going to get the 500X? And to be honest, I don't have plans on getting it. I'm pretty content with the 500. And my rationale is, well, I can't really justify spending $500 to get more DSP, because that's the primary difference. I mean, the other difference is, there's updated foot switches that they look cool, but whatever, that's not important to me. And people have been questioning, well, how much more DSP does the 500X really have? And I talked to someone at Line 6, and what's interesting though is they have not been public about how much more DSP it has. And typically when a producer of some product improves it, they like to market that and say, okay, now with 20% more marshmallows or whatever the hell you're getting more of. But they haven't done that. So I asked the rep, hey, what's the scoop? What's the real difference in DSP? And he didn't really want to answer me, and he said, well, I don't really have that data, but I've heard it's around 30%. Now, given the fact that this guy is an insider, he's most likely the best to know what the DSP change is. So I'm going with that 30%. And I've heard people speculate on the web that they think it's 20 to 30%. So again, 30% more DSP is nothing to sneeze at. That's a significant amount of DSP. But for me, with the HD500 and the projects that I use it for, which is primarily just recordings, YouTube videos, and other projects, I can make the most of the 500. I can get done what I need to get done. I can't justify spending 500 just to get 30% more DSP. If I was buying a new one and I had a choice between spending $500 on a HD500X and spending less on a used HD500, it depends on how much I could get the HD500 for. So that's kind of hard to answer. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful and informative. And if you have any questions, of course, as usual, I'll attempt to answer them as time allows. All right, until next time, rock on.